Mobile Tech RX, the app that helps you make more money.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatech mat, available at most PDR tool distributors.
Welcome to this special episode of PDR Tool Time, episode 262, and we're so excited to set history straight here on this episode. Right, Vince?
Absolutely. This is going to be a two-part episode. We have so much to talk about with our special guest, and it's one of those mysteries of the unknown that has gone on in our industry for many, many, many years. And we're going to go through, and we're going to unravel the onion, right?
This has kind of been 4 years in the making, really, trying to get this guy on. That's how hard we've tried to get, and other people have tried to get him on too. And he's never given an interview, but he literally is the godfather of our industry. He's what brought it to America, and really, all of our careers would not have happened without this gentleman.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Including mine directly. I work for the company that he started. So, and what is this gentleman's name that we are talking about?
Natalio Balderrama.
Otherwise
known as Lito.
Lito. Yes.
Yeah. So we've been working on this really, really hard. We finally got him on, and I just can't wait to get started. Let's just get started and get into it.
Yes.
How's that?
Exactly. We'll get into it, and just keep in mind that there's so much information that we are splitting this into two different episodes. This will be the first one, and then we will have the second one airing the following Tuesday.
All right, guys, sit back, enjoy, get your popcorn, because this is going to be awesome.
And I know you're a very modest man. You're a very modest man, and I know that's a little bit of a build-up to say you're the godfather of PDR in this country, but we all feel you are. When you first came to America, how did this all come about? How did you learn PDR?
Well, this started in 1972.
72, okay.
72, yeah. I was just been married for 2 years. I had my daughter with us. She was 2 years old when we traveled to Australia. The whole family went to immigrate to Australia.
And you were from Argentina?
From Argentina.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was fortunate enough, and I always say that I realized my life is being planned, not by me.
Of course. Yep.
But by God. Because every step that I did was to get where we are standing today. And I don't believe it. I don't believe the way the industry grew. And I'm grateful God sending me in a path that I will help so many people.
Yeah.
To have an excellent trade.
And it is amazing. I think back in 73, when you went to Australia is where you learned how to do paintless dent removal the first time?
Well, let me tell you how I started. I started out by working in different jobs. When I got there, there was an open program from the government to help immigrants to get jobs, assist them with lodging, and it was a full program for immigration. For the people new in the country, they have somewhere to stay, and they help them with work. And I was fortunate enough to be able to start working for that then was Datsun and Volvo.
Oh, Datsun, huh?
Yeah, joint factory. They were joining the premises between those two brands, and the Volvo and Datsun, which eventually came up to be Nissan.
Yes.
But those days, I'm so old that then it was only Datsun. I was actually the one who gave him the idea of the name Nissan.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
He's probably.
But anyway,
You probably fixed more B210s than most people have ever even seen. Yeah.
120Y, 180B, Volvo 244, station wagons.
Oh yeah.
I did everything. I did panel beating. What is the name of the trade?
Yeah.
It's called in Australia,
Yes.
and which we know here like body work.
Yeah.
Metal finish.
Yeah.
Actually, metal finish.
Yeah.
And I learned the trade metal finish first. Welding, lead, bronze, and wire, acetylene.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that needs to be learned about metal finish. And I work on a production line on metal finish work for a couple of years. And then they put me on the tables where there were only big jobs had to be done with files, filing the metal and bringing everything to level, and everything done without body filler.
No body filler at all. Just lead
no.
and straight and panel beating.
Yeah. And then after like 3 years, we decided to go back to Argentina, the whole family. And after I lost everything almost in Argentina, I decided to go back to Australia.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, again, by the hand of God, I was able to start working in the finish line, where the finish line at the very end of the tunnel, where the car gets the OK sticker for quality control on paint, bodywork, mechanic, upholstery, everything. And I was doing tiny little dents to rectify that at the end of the line before going out to be shipped out.
Yep.
And there were many instances where those cars were damaged along the way on the production line with big dents. And those cars, there's no way nobody can do it on the line. They send it outside the line. There were one choice only. They will take it out and they take it to the factory body shop, which they did what I used to do when I was metal finisher.
Metal finishing. Yep.
Yeah. But they did that and they removed the paint and then they send it back. There is a second paint shop in the factory where they do all the recoup all the panels that were damaged along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And an oven where they paint it with not so much temperature, different type of paint to damage the dashboard and the trim. They cover everything with aluminum foil in a way that they can still have a cooked paint, but not damage anything in the meantime in the interior.
In the interior, yeah.
After a while, they saw me that I was doing the job for two people, and there were one guy on each side.
Yeah.
And they eventually the manager saw the foreman saw that they left me by myself. It was so boring because I would wrap a little dent of ditch like that, and then I lean against the lights. There's a light tunnel.
Yeah.
For inspection until the next car. And the next car didn't have anything. It's just me doing both sides. And at the end, they said, is there any way you can do bigger damage instead of us sending it to the body shop? Because I was practically the only one saving it. There were many people doing outside work, outside the line. But nobody was able to save the paint. They were pushed to paint.
Now, what type of tools? Did they give you tools, or did you develop?
No, we used to make our own tools.
Right, and were they more like the master tool, or were they more rods or hammers?
As much creativity you can come up with,
right.
And but according by your needs. I mean, if you're working, you're excelling all the time to making things work, and you always come up with different tools.
But wasn't there body picks from doing leading and metal work? Wasn't there already some body picks back then? Because I've seen old body tools like that.
Yeah, but they're all beside the file. Even the file handle was made out of wood. We had to make it ourselves.
Yeah.
And they provide you with a file blade, but nothing else. And then everything you had to come up with.
So nothing existed that was manufactured. You were just making them all.
No, you're making your own.
The good thing is at least you had the repetition of the same car over and over. So you probably had the same tool for that fender or for that quarter panel.
Well, the advantage or disadvantage, the advantage I would say that you can do on those cars, you can practice as if you were in the regular market, because those cars were already with the door panels on, the upholstery complete. Yeah. You had to be able to slip the tool through the windows.
And no drilling holes.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's a sin.
Right?
And then at one point they sent me on the bench, we'll call it the bench, in front of the. This is how everything worked. They send the car to the bench, you push the paint, you file it, you sand it, and then next door is the oven. That's the way that was set up.
Yeah.
And then they send me to the bench, and I start saving all the cars they're coming to me. Yeah. Even big dents, but the only thing I would do would be to remove the door trim, but everything else on the doors.
And you were using the light tunnel for reflection? The fog?
No, that's another story. Let me get to that
later.
And then I was doing everything almost by myself. All the cars coming out of, not only out of production line, but cars out of the parking lot were damaged in the parking lot or opening the door, and some other cars open and damage other cars. And then at one point about the light, we didn't have any light. The only light we had was the fluorescent light on the ceiling, but nothing for the side. And I came up with the idea, which they give you an incentive. You come up with an idea where you can save money, and I came up with a reflection board. Mm-hmm. Which the reflection board then was a big white board with casters about 3 feet by 2 feet and by 6 feet high. And I had them paint a straight line vertical, a horizontal line, and 2 diagonal lines to do the side of the roof.
Okay.
And for that, I got rewarded.
Were they solid, or did you have the fog coming off of them?
No, it was solid.
Solid. Okay.
But at least it was something, because nobody. Yeah. I give you a story. When we did a demonstration for Lexus of America, at that point, I wouldn't trust anybody to do a demonstration for a big firm. That I was traveling to that with a group of people, and when doing this demonstration for Lexus of America, and we didn't have a car ready for us to fix, and I asked one Japanese guy who was there, and I said, "Whose car is this?" And he was mumbling worse than me. My English was better than him. Oh. Imagine that. And he said, "Oh, my car. Okay." And I went with my fist on the rear door. And the Japanese guy says, my car, what'd you do with it?" And then, don't worry, we're going to fix it. We fix it. And then I have my team bring in the reflection board. And bring the reflection board. Where's the reflection board? Oh, we didn't bring the reflection board.
Oh, no.
Oh.
And those days, I looked like John Gotti with a little less hair. And I was wearing a two-tone moccasin,
Uh-huh.
brown and white on top.
Yeah.
And I fixed the entire dent, raising my leg with the foot,
With the
using
shoe.
my moccasin as a reflection board.
That's great. I love
Well,
that.
then I had the privilege to impress many people in Nissan, going back to Datsun.
Yeah. Australia.
And, I was fixing everything, and nothing would go through pain. Everything was safe. And one day, at the very, like 4 years down the road, a big manager came to me, a production manager, and said, "We have a problem." He said, I want to see if you can help us. In the parking lot, where the cars being parked and ready to put on top of the trucks to be taken away, there's a full line of Datsun 180B with the damage right front fender. There was a line of about 20 cars. Every one of them in the same spot. They had big dents like this on the fender. And they told me, I can't take it to a body shop. It will take me 1 month to clean this up.
Yeah.
We file it. By the time we grind it, by the time we paint and put it back in the oven and paint it again and again and again until it came out perfect. And so I do it. I can do it. And I can do it. I help you out. I took my little toolbox. I didn't even have a toolbox. I had just a bunch of tools and grab them in my hand, and I took my no reflection board again.
Yeah.
I didn't have a two-tone shoe then.
Oh,
No,
nothing.
it was
Huh?
too early. And then I start. Sorry.
I said that'll be our new product: shoe reflection boards.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, there was an 8-hour shift. I finished the 20 cars, all of them. Big dents. We're talking about a dent of the size of a melon. So.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, that's the point where I realized nobody else can do what I do.
Yeah.
What am I doing here? The following day, I went to the office. And thank God, they refused to listen to me.
Yeah.
Thank God, because everything for a purpose. And the purpose of God for me was to get out of this place and do it on your own.
Now,
But
how
I
old
need to.
Lito, you're what, maybe early 20s at this point?
I was 26.
26. Okay.
27.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then I said, I want to raise. And they said to me, "Oh, we can't give you a raise. You're already working here. If you come back, you leave the factory, you come back, we may give you a raise, but we need to negotiate." And I don't even remember how much I was getting paid for an hour by the week, but every fortnight. I can't remember, and I said, "Well, thank you very much." And I got my vacation, and during my vacation, I did a set of tools. I did it myself. And I started visiting. I went one dealership outside Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
A dealership that will look like, I don't know if anybody familiar with Auto Toy Store in Fort Lauderdale, but it's not there anymore. But they used to have all kinds of exotic cars, British cars, Italian, anything you can think of. And I went to, the first thing is very hard to explain the kind of work that I did, and many many places, they almost ran me away because they chased me away because
They didn't
they didn't understand. No.
Yeah.
But these people really understood, and I said, "Look, you have a car here that I can do. The door look like 20 dents on the door. I can fix this, and I show you the results. If you like it, you don't have to pay for this door. But if you like it, you give me some work." I did this door. I think it was a Rover, a sedan Rover, 4-door. Excuse me. And I finished it off in about 40 minutes. When I came back, the guy who was supposed to inspect the car, which is the guy in charge of mechanics, and I started looking to see if he was going to find the car that he gave me.
Yeah.
I said, "No, the car I gave you." "Yes, it is." No, it's not." "Where's the other car?" Because he saw the door. There's nothing in there.
Yeah. He didn't believe you.
And then he brought everybody outside and said, "Look at it." They gave me the key of the master, the key holder of the place. He said, "Any car you find, you do." And at those days, I was charging $45 per side panel, 60 for horizontal panels.
And it didn't matter how big, or bigger damage you would charge more, or no?
For me, doing big dents was kind of,
Easier. Yeah.
I don't care. I do it. As a matter of fact, I have a theory that it works perfectly, but I'll tell you later. And then in the following 2 days, I did the entire inventory. Every car in the place, no dents. They were as happy as they could be. Anytime you want to come, you're always going to have work for you. Come over. And then he started spreading the word around town, every dealer. And then I put myself in a position. I said, there is a Ford dealer about 3 blocks away. I don't want to work for Ford because Ford didn't want to pay. I knew it was too cheap.
Yeah.
Doing the demonstration of Ferraris and Rolls Royces and Jaguar and everything. And then he sent me to many places around the area, including in downtown Melbourne, many wholesalers and many auctions, which I started doing, and then I worked like this for about a year.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Argentina. But it was considered a lot of money in 1 year.
Oh, sure.
A lot of money. I was able to buy a house and a car, but then again I went back to the trap, because I didn't have any income in Argentina, and I was almost to the verge of losing everything again because there's no money coming in.
Yeah.
That's when I decided to come to America. I have an uncle living in Miami, which he let me stay in his place for 3 days. The first day I got there, I went to junkyard, and I got a couple of springs, and I, with the help of the tool he had in his workshop, I was able to complete a full set of tools in 1 day.
Yeah.
Nice.
They were rough.
What year would this be, Lito?
Yeah.
This was like
Late 70s now. Jonathan, you're probably born by now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 79.
No, I was
Not 79 years old. So 79.
Yeah, that was like 82, 83.
82, 83. Yeah. Okay.
Now, you don't happen to have those same tools, do you?
There are some of them in my garage. Some of them.
Okay, Jonathan, I want you to take a picture. I want you to take a picture of those tools. We need to see those.
Here, hold that up to the camera so we can see that.
What's that?
It's a little.
Well, actually, this was the iron, my first tool. But when he trained for the first time in Dent Wizard, I think I mean,
Yeah, these two we use for. I don't know if you're familiar with the training we did. A lot of aluminum.
Yeah.
Aluminum
yeah,
products.
like mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this was a perfect tool to do work on aluminum. It's at the beginning, the very beginning.
Dragging.
The dragging of the tool and finding the center and doing the spiral. Everything the technician did was revealed on the back of the aluminum. And if you didn't follow the perfect spiral, you're not doing the correct thing. You need to be able to.
Yeah. Now let me explain that a little bit more. When we went through Dent Wizard training, we used printing plates, and they were aluminum plates.
Yeah, those were cool.
A lot of people, or at least when I went through Dent Wizard, that was 95. That's what they were using. They were press plates or printing plates that the printing companies would use to print things, and very thin gauge in aluminum. And by then, we were using screwdrivers rather than that to find the tip of our tool and hand-eye coordination and everything. But the biggest fear in 95 was that we were going to be sent to Miami, because we knew we were in trouble if we were being sent to Miami to see Lito for training. So we really tried hard not to go to Miami, which is really odd because most people want to go to Miami.
Yeah. Especially retiree.
Yes. So
okay, so you're in Miami. You've got a full set of tools. What happens next?
Well, I went to a dealership in North Miami Beach, and it was in Biscayne and 150th Street. The name of this place was Prestige Imports. Crazy, beautiful guy, the owner. It was a young guy, rich guy. The lot was stone and gravel, and the office, which was like a train wagon, and that was his office with air conditioning and everything. But he had in the lot, like he had Ferraris, Rolls Royces, all these kind of cars, the same kind of cars that I did in Melbourne the first time, all imports and prestige cars. And the same thing happened. I got the same car, a Rover again, and I fixed it again in half hour.
Yeah.
And he gave me carte blanche. Go, whatever you find, you do.
Yeah.
And he also started recommending me around the area.
But I think one point you told me that people were thinking some places that you were having a connection with somebody and changing the panels.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how in the world? There's no way you're gonna get out of here. Somebody's bringing you the panels. Like,
well, I give you an example. What happened before? You know, I was recommended by this Earl David, his name, to another dealership in the area, and I start driving around and see a big Rolls Royce mechanic shop, which caught my eye, and I said, this would be probably an ideal client. They have people bringing the car for repairs and mechanically, and if they have any dents, I can fix them. And I tried to introduce myself to the guy. This is funny. And he wouldn't listen. He said to me, no, I got somebody doing this job. No, you don't. No. Let me explain to you. Whatever I touch, I don't need to paint, and the car turned out to be perfect. You don't see the dent. Listen, I told you I already had somebody doing the job for me. But you don't understand. He said, you look, pal. You get out of here or I punch you in the middle of the nose. All right. Thank you. Sorry. 3 years down the line, I was doing auto toy store in Fort Lauderdale, which Ferraris and Mercedes, and they had even Formula One cars. Not that I was fixing those Formula One, but the kind of inventory this guy had. And one day, what's his name? Shirazi. This is the manager. He said, I'm going to ask you a favor. I have a friend of mine in Miami, which has got a bunch of cars. Most of them are Rolls Royce. and my antenna went up. Rolls Royce? Yeah, a friend of mine. Where is it located? It's located near the near US 1, Biscayne Boulevard, and 150th Street. Oh, I know that guy. That's the guy who tried to punch me. I said, I'm not going. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he was laughing. He said, you don't know it, but you've been doing his car for the longest time.
Oh,
He was bringing the car to him. I said, I'm still not going. If I see a Rolls Royce here that don't belong to you, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. No.
That's good. That's funny.
So,
it's funny the story that how stories get started. What I heard is you flew to America and you would show up with a tuxedo and fix dents.
Did you really hear that? You really heard that?
Yeah, I did.
I'm not friendly with tuxedos.
No, okay. So that was a myth. I'm glad we got that settled.
No. One time I had an incident with the police, which I was doing cars for the Mercedes dealers in Coral Gables. I can't remember. Yeah, Bill
Side.
No, okay, that doesn't matter. I was doing used cars in the lot, and in one occasion I was leaning down on the floor trying to get access through the bottom of the door to fix the dent. It looked like a lady drove through, and she saw me leaning or lying underneath the car, and she called the police.
Yeah.
So, and the manager came to me, were you lying on the bottom of the car? Yes. Oh, okay. Because the lady said there was a black guy trying to steal a Mercedes out of the lot.
Now, Lito, that brings me to a question I have to ask. You know, because everyone always relates Dent Wizard technicians to working upside down. And still to this day, 26 years later, I still work upside down. Is that something you originally started working upside down, or was that something?
Well, that was a technique that was done in a final line in Datsun.
Okay.
It's very complicated if you're not accustomed.
Sure.
It's very hard to, coordinate the movement, because whatever you think is coming is not coming, it's going.
Yeah. It's going.
You need to drag the tool in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And, that was a technique I developed using that technique.
Was that mainly because as I perceived it, is that you would be able to put your body as a shadow, so you'd see the dent reflection on the reflection board better, and it did give you some better leverage in some cases. Is that why you did the technique?
Well, the idea is I was feeling so comfortable, and I had such a full control of the tool, because the tool is so close to your body. Well, if you're going upwards position, your elbow, and I always put an emphasis on that. As long as you have your elbow close to your body and your tool and the handle of your tool close to your body, you can even use your body as a moving along with the tool, and you have more control. You're not crazy going trying to find the tool, because everything is controlled by your body.
Yeah.
And I never had any problem with my upside position, and that's the way it was taught in Dent Wizard. That's why everybody, when I see somebody upside down,
That's crazy.
I relate.
Because the first time I went to Oklahoma to do hail, like 10, 11 years ago, my friend was doing the side dents like we do it now. And I was like, I don't think I can do that. I don't know if that's right. Like, I don't really. And he was like, no, look, he was bending, and I was like, but he was looking at me, and I was more, in his eye, I was more bent than him. Yeah. But in my eyes, I was like more comfortable. But then, it's funny how things go.
It is. But, and I always thought that besides having more control, you're doing less wear and tear on your body, because when you're upside down, you're here rather than your arms fully extended. And I always thought that, kind of like a motorcycle, you see the guys on the Harleys with the big ape handles, and they look like they're not in control, opposed to someone that's on a street bike that is right there with the handles close to them. They have more control.
See, I always thought it was to get your eye level with the lower dents, because, you need to be realistic. For Wizard method, you were trained that you need to be eye level with the dent when you're working it, because when you're working at an angle, sometimes it's hard to see the bottom. I know when I work with new people and I see their body position, especially working upside down, and the dent's lower than their head position, they're having a harder time hitting the center.
Yeah. I think the intentions are both, full control. Your face, you can put it next to your door. That's why at the very beginning, I never allowed to have anybody wearing glasses, regular reading glasses. Yeah. I would take anybody with contact lenses, but not reading, because you cannot lean against the door.
Yeah,
the glasses will.
I will not fix a car wearing my glasses. I put on my contacts. I want my face to be close to that panel.
Yeah, funny because of that position. I think it was the first training we did. There was a guy. He came from Kansas. We did the first training in Missouri, and 2 or 3 weeks along the training, one of the guys keep on coming to me and say, I have a problem. I can see the dent when I standing up like this, and I can move and I can see everything. When I turn my head upside down, I don't see it anymore. I lose it. And it bothered me so much. I said, I cannot lose any guy. I mean, we already went through 2 or 3 weeks in a training. If I lose this guy, I got to start all over again. And I had to stay in St. Louis for another 3 or 4 weeks with the cold weather and all. I don't want to do that.
No.
You know what I realized? This guy was a little chubby, and his cheeks, because when he was upside down, his cheek was going against his head, and he was moving his lenses, and they came out of focus. Right. Said, let's try this. Let's put a toothpick like this. And it worked. How about that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Of course, he couldn't use a toothpick for a long time. But
okay, so let's back up a little bit. So now you're in America. You're in Miami, and the next thing I know is you, St. Louis. Somehow the connection between you and St. Louis and Kevin Beatty.
Yeah, where does St. Louis come into play?
Or there's probably years of you fixing cars before you move on.
I was ready. Yeah, I was ready. Trying to market a franchise idea for Dent Wizard.
Okay.
As a matter, let me clarify this. Dent Wizard is not the name that I came up with.
All right.
That's the customers calling me, "You're a wizard."
Yeah.
And that was the name. Sure. I don't take credit for that.
What was the first name you came up with? Curious.
There was a name, something stupid, nothing to do with dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was so naive that.
Yeah.
But that was unbelievable. I mean, wizard. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then I was doing a franchise, setting up the franchise with the paperwork and the marketing and everything. And one day I was working in Miami, and I received a phone call from a guy he will present himself, Mark Maravelli.
That concludes our first interview with Natalio Balderrama. Thank you for listening. Please tune into next week's episode where we cover how he got to St. Louis, and the rest is history. Thanks for tuning in.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the industry and tool-related news every week.